Look at him, he's heading for that small moon.
I think I can get him before he gets there.
That's no moon.
Guys, and welcome back to another video. In this one, we are going to be continuing the series on how to progress certain body parts, different tips and tricks that you guys can use in your hypertrophy training to blow up a specific muscle. And today's muscle of choice is the shoulders, those planet-destroying Death Star delts. We're going to be going through a couple of different things, which includes my favorite exercises for your delts, as well as my biggest tips that you guys should be incorporating into your shoulder training in order to get the most out of it. All right, you guys, so let's just get straight into the video. Starting off with number one, my biggest tip for you guys when it comes to delt training is to make sure that you are training all three heads of the deltoid. If you didn't already know, your shoulder has three heads: the frontal, the lateral, and the rear. And one thing that's very interesting when it comes to shoulder training is the fact that different exercises are going to target a very different part of your shoulder. So I'm going to go through and give you guys what I believe to be the best exercises for each head of the delt. The first is the frontal head of your delt, and the best exercise for this one is going to be standing barbell overhead press. Now, a lot of people don't do this one. You can go into a gym and you will not very regularly see somebody doing a standing overhead barbell press. You'll see a lot of people doing overhead dumbbell military presses, seated presses, all those different types of things. But a lot of people don't like to perform the standing barbell overhead press just simply because it is a very hard movement to master. But the reason why I pick this exercise over all the other sort of overhead pressing shoulder movements is because it really forces you to focus on that front delt. And what do I mean by that? Basically, when you sit on an incline bench and you use dumbbells, there's a large chance that your upper chest is going to be doing a lot of the work when you're performing it. Forcing yourself to do overhead press with a barbell makes it so that your upper chest is doing very, very little of the work. And because you are having to stay completely vertical, your delts are forced to do the majority of the work. For years, I did military press with seated dumbbells and my shoulders just did not grow. Shoulders have always been a lagging body part for me, and one of the reasons is because my chest tends to take over a lot of the time whenever I'm doing any sort of pressing movement. And so my chest would get super big and my shoulders would start to really lag. But once I stopped doing military press and I switched to overhead press with a barbell, it was extremely hard at first, but I saw so much progress come out of solely doing this exercise. All right, you guys, and next up we have the lateral delt. Now, my favorite exercises for the lateral delt are going to be lateral dumbbell raises. This is a pretty common movement that you'll see a lot of people doing in the gym, but a lot of people do it incorrectly. What I really want you to focus on when performing this movement is, instead of focusing on trying to get your hands above your shoulders, focus on trying to pull up the weight with your elbows. Now, it might take a while to master. Once you start focusing on trying to lift the weight with your elbows instead of your hands, your lateral delt will start to engage a lot more during this movement. Also, at the end of every single set of lateral raises, what I like to do is do a set beyond failure with a bunch of partial reps. So basically just stand there at your side and slowly bring up the weights as far as you possibly can at the end of a set, and you are going to feel the side delt just absolutely light up, and you can do a ton of these and really push your shoulders past failure. And finally, we have the best exercise for your rear delt. Now, I'm going to give this one away to rear delt flies, specifically bent over dumbbell rear delt flies. Now, you can actually go pretty heavy on these, but what you want to make sure that you're doing is that you're using your rear delts to move the weight and not any other muscle on your back. back. Once again, focus on lifting the weight with your elbows instead of with your hands. And if you guys are having a hard time understanding what I'm saying when I give you that cue, think about when you're doing exercises like rear delt flies and lateral raises, think about a string being attached to your elbow and having to pull the weight up while the weight is in your hand. So instead of a string being attached to your wrist and pulling up the weight, you want to focus on pulling with your elbow. So when you pull with your elbow, you're going to be using a lot more of your delt. I really hope you guys are understanding that complicated verbal cue. Let me know down in the comment section, did that help you guys out at all? Sometimes it makes sense in my mind, but it's hard to manifest. All right, you guys, and for my second biggest tip when it comes to training your shoulders as a whole is to identify which head of the deltoid is specifically lagging on you. For me, I talked about how my chest was really overpowering my pushing movements, and so my front delt was very, very underdeveloped, while my lateral delt and my rear delt were pretty good. So I had to switch to doing overhead press a lot more to focusing on that front delt. Some of you guys might have the opposite problem. Maybe your lateral delt is extremely underdeveloped. Like you don't look very wide from the front, but you do have a big front delt. And a lot of people struggle with rear delts because trust me guys, you really want to train your rear delts. It's what completes that 3D look of the shoulder. So identify which head of the deltoid is lagging on you specifically and start implementing a lot more training focused around hitting that head. You can try by implementing more frequency, putting in more exercises, but one of the best things that you can possibly do is increase mind-muscle connection to that specific head of the deltoid. So use low reps and focus on trying to feel the burn and get a pump as best as you possibly can instead of trying to hit new PRs on your rear delt flies, lateral raises, or overhead press. All right, you guys, and number 3, my tip for you guys is to get on a workout routine that prioritizes shoulder training. There are a lot of workout splits out there that are very, very common that don't do enough to focus on the development of the shoulders. One of the most common of these is going to be the push-pull leg split. Yep, I said it. And I personally do the push-pull leg split, but I can tell you that doing a push workout where you're mainly focusing on your chest, it is extremely hard to go to failure on a bunch of sets for shoulders after training your chest so hard. A lot of the times you're already fatigued after training your chest, and so the shoulder part of the training just sort of takes a back seat. Do not let this happen. Now, my approach with this was to start training full body, and that is when I saw my shoulders just absolutely explode. When I trained full body, I would train the shoulders every single day, and I usually switch off between training my lateral head one day and then my frontal head the next day. And I know this sounds crazy, but I hit my rear delts every single day when training full body. It's really not that taxing to hit your rear delts. It's a very, very small muscle. So if you just throw in a couple of sets to failure of an exercise like a rear delt fly, it can have a lot of benefits. If you guys are interested in a full body workout program, be sure to head over to my website, brandonclarkfitness.com. I've gotten a ton of feedback from a lot of you guys. Thank you guys so much for giving me so much support on these programs. They've actually helped me to just buy a new laptop, which, you know, the funds for came completely off of people buying my programs. So I want to thank you guys so much. And if you guys need an easily customizable workout plan or you're interested in full body training, be sure to head over there and check out my push-pull legs program, the 8-day super split, as well as full body ultimate hypertrophy. But if you guys aren't interested in training full body, just make sure that you guys are incorporating some sort of extra shoulder day or day where you can solely focus on the shoulders when pushing so that they don't start to take a backseat in your training. All right, and my 4th tip for you guys. Now, I mentioned this one a little bit a while back, but I'm going to push the envelope a little bit further. Don't go too heavy on your shoulder movements. Stick to a weight that you can control that is going to allow you to do a lot of reps, especially when you're targeting the lateral and rear delt. delt. A lot of muscles are lagging on specific individuals solely because they lack a good mind-muscle connection. So when you first start out, focus on increasing the reps and lowering the weight and trying to get as good of a mind-muscle connection as you possibly can. And for the fifth and final tip that I have for you guys today that is going to help you build your shoulders is to focus on increasing your shoulder stability. I would say that the best exercises for doing this are exercises like overhead carries, rotator cuff band work, and heavy farmer's walks with dumbbells. Now, the stability of your shoulder is going to play a huge part in the strength, the mind-muscle connection, and the hypertrophy that occurs in your deltoid. A lot of people just lack stability in their shoulders, and it severely limits the amount of weight that they're able to push and the connection that they get to that muscle. So one of the best things that you can do is focus on the stability of the shoulder joint by using the exercises that I previously stated. And also, don't be scared to try to strengthen your rotator cuffs. A lot of people have shoulder problems and shoulder pain because of their rotator cuffs. So by doing regular exercises like band work for them, you're going to be adding a lot of overall security to your shoulders and including a lot of injury prevention. So that is going to be it for my tips for you guys today. I really hope you enjoyed the video. Be sure to drop a like and a comment if you guys did enjoy. Let me know if you guys have any other ideas for YouTube videos, things that you guys want to see me do. Once again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys all in the next video.